All right. Yep. Okay. All right, so we are going to do the evaluation over Standard 2 learning differences. And today what you did was you discussed and what you did with the whole group Chapter 4 over a single shard. And we're just going to focus on this one standard. First of all, I think you did a great job. Let's talk about valuing students, okay? I would give you a proficient on that. Candidates make students feel valued and helps them to learn to respect each other. You made it very comfortable for them. They were able to go ahead and when you asked them a question, you gave them an opportunity. I'd give a little more time in between sometimes, but I'm not a great one to
Time
judge
in
it.
between.
When you ask the question, to give them the opportunity to answer.
Right, before I come out with
Yes.
it. Yes.
And I have a hard time with that too because I get so excited about the book that I want,
Yeah.
you know what I
No,
mean?
that's a good pointer.
Yeah, and that is something that I think most teachers struggle with because they just get excited.
Because it's quiet.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, so count to 5 or 6, and 10 is a lot, but sometimes you got to count to 10 and just listen. And
No, that's a good point.
and when you do that, it requires them to become more engaged.
Right.
But having them feed off of each other is really important, and I noticed that was happening. One kid would say something, and then the others would feed off of it. There's one thing that I did notice, and I don't remember who it was, but it was over there in the corner, and they had a great answer, but it was so quiet that no one else heard it.
Oh.
And so when you hear something like that, if you just repeat their answer, say their name and say, "Oh, so and so said," because
and then the
someone
rest of the class didn't hear it. Okay.
yeah. Because someone over here said, "What'd she say?" And,
Right.
and I wasn't even sure because So just a little hint, a little
that's
pointer
good.
right there. But otherwise, but it's hard because when you hear it fine, you don't realize that somebody else may not have.
No, these are good because I really do like doing what I did today because it's very comfortable for me because I love stories for one
Right.
thing, and then kind of give talking annotations and
Yeah.
points that they might not understand in the
Right.
book. I like it.
Yeah, that worked well. And let's see, the second part is differentiated instruction. I'm giving you an outstanding for that one, a 4 for that one, because it says candidate differentiates instruction to address students' interests, learning preferences, readiness, and special needs. You're really good about recognizing, like today we have co-teach and our grade level, and you and I both know that our grade levels are probably lower than our co-teach, and you've made adjustments for that. And so that's what's really, really important. You know what each group is needing, how much time, the kind of groups you need to put them in. And so that's why I'm giving you that outstanding for that, because you are recognizing that. If something's not working, you're recognizing that and you're making changes.
Okay.
And you're not afraid to ask if something's not going right.
Right.
and I like that.
Thank you.
Student with learning differences or needs, I've got you down for proficient for that. Candidate makes appropriate and timely accommodations and instructional strategies for students with learning differences or needs. And the reason it's not the outstanding for that is because assessments, we've not done
Right.
assessments, and I can't say consistent yet because this is
Right.
only your, really second true week of active engagement with the students as far as teaching goes. Yeah, and again, that still goes back to making changes as needed, knowing, adjusting, and that's huge, and, being able to monitor and adjust. If something's not working, let's put it on the back burner, let's go back, reteach, do whatever it is we need to do, make sure there's understanding for sure, and you're doing that. Multiple perspectives, and this one was kind of hard because, as far as, I don't know that we have huge opportunities for this yet. And it's going to grow, and it,
Yeah.
it just depends on each lesson that we do. It's going to change as we go throughout. But I think we're looking at this a little differently than what maybe it's intended, but I'm not sure. But I chose a basic, and I'm still between that and proficient. Candidate has developed some lessons that present multiple perspectives of families from diverse backgrounds and cultural norms. And that one, because, and we can talk about this again after reading it again. Your lesson with a single shard, it's from the medieval times, and living in an Asian country and the Asian culture, and you are good about pointing out things that are happening during that time. As you read, you stopped, and when he had bowed down with his hands with the bowl like that, you stopped and discuss that and so that's how I'm taking this. I don't know if they're meaning students, multiple perspectives of families from diverse backgrounds, but I think it's important for them to see even within the stories historical fiction that we're reading. So it goes even further back. So, and then you can come back and relate it to, now,
Right.
I mean, now we can say, is that something that we would do now? I mean, maybe that's how we could get into the proficient category, integrates multiple perspectives into appropriate lessons to help students learn to respect
Right.
and understand different culture. I think maybe
They may later on in this book respect this culture more and
Right.
all the differences
right.
after they read. I mean, we're only on chapter 4.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I put that there. Do you agree with that?
I do
Is that-
agree with
okay,
that,
all
actually.
right. And then the last one is English language learners, and we have talked about this. We have very few in our groups.
Right.
I don't know that we had any today.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but we do have a couple, and so you do know, and it says candidates familiar with some of the instructional strategies for working effectively with English language learners, but does not consistently use those strategies. See, I don't like that part. You haven't had the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you don't have the opportunity,
Right.
I
know.
So let's read the proficient again. Candidate uses appropriate strategies to help English language learners access the content being taught while they learn English. I don't know that that's
I
there.
haven't really had the
Right,
opportunity to
yeah.
do that
So
either.
that's the only reason I'm putting
That's-
that there
yeah,
is
makes
because
sense.
the lack of opportunity at
Right,
this time,
right.
and so I'm gonna write that down just so, and that'll change as we go throughout different things. When we get into a writing assignment, that will definitely be available to you. I mean, that opportunity will be there when you see some of their writing because depending on, see, we just don't have a lot that are some what you usually find with, like, especially Hispanic children, how they talk, it's exactly how they write. You'll be able to hear their voice in their writing. I mean, literally, you're like, oh yeah,
I'm
that's
excited to see
Josue,
that,
or that's,
Yeah.
I mean, because the verbs, you can see and hear everything. You know exactly who it is without even looking at a name. Hey, this is so-and-so, because you can just,
And we may only have 4 to 5 students out of all the classes, but they're all proficient in English.
Right.
But I guess you say their families
Right.
might not be.
right.
So,
And
or
that's,
aren't.
and that's usually how
Right.
they get in the ELL program, is because their families don't speak English, and therefore they don't have the support at home. But otherwise, our students, at this point, if they've been to Lakeside this long, which most of ours have, are proficient in English at this
How do
by
you
this
do a
point.
parent-teacher conference if they can't speak English?
We have an ELL coordinator who she'll come in and translate.
Okay.
Yeah, Melody Steiger.
Mhm.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
who will
okay.
come in, yeah. And so that's what I have for standard 2 for the lesson that you did on a single shard today.
That's
Yeah.
great. I mean, I feel excited that we're this close since I began and I'm already in front of the class.
Right.
Just to me, that's a huge
Right,
step for me. So.
right. Yes, well, you're doing great, and we'll just keep
Thank
getting
you.
better. I'm glad you were here today.
Glad
Glad you're here every day. All right. So, and I'll put mine in, and
Okay.
awesome.
Thank you.